Now, if you think growing your YouTube channel is all about choosing the right keywords, you're wrong. Even YouTube tells you that keywords are not important. So if you want to learn how to grow your channel this year, you gotta watch this video. Let's go. Now, to grow on YouTube, you need to be able to do two things: show up in search and show up in suggested. What this requires is choosing the right topics, getting high click-through rates, increasing your view duration, and also getting more watch time. If you can nail these four things, you're gonna substantially increase the amount of views and subscribers that you're getting long term. So let's talk about the first thing, and that is choosing the right topics. Now, the rule of thumb of choosing the right video topics is selecting topics that have high search volume but low competition, and there are two ways that I like to validate this. The first way is when I go through YouTube and I'm searching for a topic, I'll specifically zone in on videos where the creator has more views on that video than they do subscribers. This ultimately tells me that that video is not only fueling the growth of their channel, but it's also telling me that there are a lot of non-subscribers watching their content, which tells me that this is a topic that a lot of people are searching for. And especially if that creator doesn't have a lot of subscribers, but they've got viral videos going on for them, it's definitely an opportunity for me to capitalize on. Not only this, if you want to end up on suggested, it's always nice to piggyback off of the topics of other people to increase the chances of your video showing up next after people finish watching their video. Now, where I draw the line is I would never copy someone's content. I only look at the video topic, and to preserve my own integrity, I will base my ideas off of that topic without watching other people's videos. Now, the second way on how you can approach this is using a plugin like TubeBuddy. So what I do is I use the Keyword Explorer and I'll search up a topic that I'm interested in pursuing. And what I like about TubeBuddy is it will tell me specifically what the search volume is like and what the competition is like, and it will also share with me the weighted and unweighted score. So the unweighted score is TubeBuddy telling you how well this topic generally performs for most people. However, if you look at the weighted score, it'll give you a specific score based on the standing of your account. So for example, if I'm searching up Instagram, the unweighted score is that it would perform pretty poorly because it's a very competitive topic. Versus for me, in the weighted score, it's actually going to be a pretty good topic for me to pursue specifically, likely because my account has been on YouTube for a while and I've gotten a lot of authority in this subject over time. Now, let's say you are someone who is just starting out and you're using TubeBuddy, but you can't seem to find a topic that's giving you a good score. Well, what you're gonna wanna do is you are gonna wanna niche down a little bit further. So for instance, when I'm searching the very broad keyword Instagram, of course, this is a very competitive topic and has a very high search volume. But what I would do is I would click around on the right-hand sidebar and look for other video topics that I could potentially niche down to. For instance, if I click on Instagram captions, now my score is even better because I've niched down the video. And so remember, there is a power of niching down, and that's ultimately how you can thrive as a smaller creator here on YouTube. Now, to give you a clear example of how niching down helped me as a smaller YouTuber with less than 1,000 subscribers is I wanted to create a video about why I quit my job. But what I noticed through my own research and through using plugins like TubeBuddy is that that video had high search volume but extremely high competition. So what I did instead is I created this video where it was about why I quit my corporate job specifically and for millennials specifically. And so I really niched down 2 times. Not only was it about quitting the job, it was quitting a corporate job, and not just quitting a corporate job for anyone, it was for millennials specifically. And what I noticed is I got way more views than I did on my other videos, and was actually the very first viral video that I've ever had on my channel. And so that's why niching down can absolutely help you stand out as a newer creator. And so never underestimate yourself when it comes to competing on more popular subjects. All you want to do is be able to niche down so that the right people can find you and for you to stand out from your competition. Now let's move on to how to get a high click-through rate, aka how many people are clicking on your videos. Ultimately, this comes down to you nailing your topic, your title, and your thumbnail. Now, earlier on, we just talked about how to choose the right topics, so let's move on to talking about how to structure a title that will entice someone to want to actually click on your video. Now, based on my experience, the best performing titles that I've created come in two parts. The first part is something that you know for a fact that people are searching for. It should be clear and it should be concise. And it should be front loaded in the beginning of your title. For instance, for this video, it's all about how to make your Instagram Reels go viral. And the reason why I am putting it in the beginning of my title is because on mobile and even on desktop, if a title is too long, it's going to get cut out. And so it's really important that the most important keywords are put in the front. Now, the second part of having a click-worthy title is having something that is attention-grabbing. So in this title, in parentheses, I've added the words 0 to 5 million views. I know for a fact that this is really gonna set me apart from my competition, especially if my viewer is comparing my video with all the other videos about this specific topic. Now, in addition to having a click-worthy title, you also want to have a click-worthy thumbnail. A thumbnail formula that has worked for my channel for years is having text clearly on the left-hand side and then a photo of myself making an expression on the right-hand side. There are a few reasons why this works and why it gets clicks. Number one, people read from left to right, and so when you have text on the left-hand side, it's going to make your thumbnail a lot more digestible and therefore increase the clicks that you get. The second reason is the timestamp is going to be on the bottom right-hand side on YouTube, and you don't want that to cover up your text. Thirdly, a lot of people don't actually read the title, especially if they're browsing through YouTube on recommended or suggested or browse, and therefore having some minimal text gives context to your video, which would increase the clicks that you ultimately get. And then finally, for some niches, showing your face increases trust, and so having your face in your thumbnail is also going to get clicks too. Now, of course, this doesn't apply to every single niche on YouTube, but for most niches, it absolutely will. Now, in terms of tips on how to create your thumbnails, before I start filming my video, I'll actually sit down and film a clip of me doing a bunch of different poses, and later on when I upload the file to my desktop, I will then screenshot the exact frame that I want to be my thumbnail cover. Now, if you have Canva Pro, you can upload it to Canva and remove the background and even upload your brand fonts. Or if you don't have Canva Pro, you can use a website called remove.bg to remove the background for free, upload it to Canva, and then start designing your thumbnail as you would like it. Not only this, if you are someone who has been on YouTube for a while, you have tons of videos to work with, it's worth also upgrading your license on TubeBuddy for the Legend license, where you can actually run A/B tests on your thumbnails, and you can also get even more data on which thumbnails are performing the best on your channel in terms of facial expression, in terms of style, and so much more. Now, if you want a code to TubeBuddy, you can just use this code right here to get 20% off all licenses that you see. Now let's talk about the next phase on how you can get more views and subscribers for your channel, and that is increasing the view duration that you have on your videos. So what is view duration? It's essentially how long someone is watching your videos for. Now, there are a few ways to increase view duration. The first one is to keep your introduction 30 seconds or less. What I've noticed is anytime my intros on my videos are over 30 seconds, I'll see big drop-off rates like this. You don't want that. A big mistake that I also used to make is I would start off my videos saying, "What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel." And ultimately, if my goal is to attract non-subscribers in order to fuel the growth of my channel and get more views, they don't care about that. What they ultimately care about is whether or not your video is going to solve their problem and what result they're going to get. And so what you'll even notice in the beginning of this video is my introduction was very short, to the point, and we jumped straight into the content. That's ultimately what you want to do for your introductions as well. Now, the second way to make sure that people are watching until the end of your video is to not use language that's signaling that the video is about to end. So for example, if I'm sharing tips for my video, I will never say, "And my last tip is," because when I use the word last tip, it's signaling to people that the video is about to end soon, and therefore they're gonna click out prematurely. Or if a video has 5 tips, I would never say, "And my 5th tip is," because I'm ultimately telling someone that, hey, this video is about to end because we are on the last tip. What I do instead, and if you actually study my videos, I will always say, "And my next tip is," and my next tip is, and my next tip is, and I'm not necessarily counting down till the end of the video. This is ultimately what you want to do if you want to hold someone's attention and make sure people are not dropping off. Now, there are so many other tips I have when it comes to strategically structuring your videos. And if you want even more resources and support, make sure you click the link in my description box below to access my Scripting for Success Vault, where I not only share 15 additional tips on how to get more watch time and view duration on your videos, I also share a bunch of templates for your scripts, and I even share my own scripts that I use for my videos so that you can study them and use them for yourself. And so if you're interested in that, make sure you click the link in my description box or in my comment section below. Now, moving on to my next tip on how you can increase your average view duration is to make sure you are adding graphics, B-roll, and text to your videos to make your videos more engaging. Now, the reason why people are searching for things on YouTube isn't just to find a solution, but it's also to find visual stimulation. If they wanted to listen to you all day, they would have listened to a podcast, but nope, they chose YouTube as their main source of information because they are visual learners. And so you want to help your viewers stay engaged by visualizing the things that you are saying or explaining in your video by adding graphics, text, or even B-roll to keep them hooked. Now, of course, there is a possibility to overdo these types of elements, which leads me to my next tip, and that is learning how to read your audience retention report. Now, to access your audience retention report, you want to go to Creator Studio, hit Analytics, and select the specific video you want to look at, then go to Engagement and scroll down. You'll then be able to access your report, and how you read it is anytime you see large dips, it means that people are clicking out of your video. For example, in your intro, if you're seeing a really large dip like this one, it likely tells you that your intro wasn't strong enough and you've already lost the viewer's attention within the first minute or so. Now, if you have a large dip at the end of your video, that's pretty normal. Most people click out of the video prematurely, but you still want to analyze on why that might have happened. For example, I once saw a really large dip at the end of my video, and when I looked into it, I noticed that was the exact moment where I had 3 different call to actions at the end of the video, so I was not surprised that people clicked out prematurely. Now, if you see a dip in the middle of your video, you absolutely want to investigate that. For example, when I noticed a dip in the middle of my video and I clicked into it, I noticed this was the exact moment where I got really in the weeds with a screen share tutorial. And I took a mental note that in the future, whenever I share my screen, I'll either edit it so it's more engaging or I'll keep it more concise. So analyzing your audience retention report can really help you create better videos over time. Now, on the flip side, if you notice that there are spikes in your video, that tells you that people are going back to a specific portion of your video to re-watch it. So you definitely want to pay attention to the areas that you are also doing right and getting a lot of attention for. Now, ultimately, you want your audience retention chart to kind of be as flat of a line as possible. This basically tells you that you are holding your viewers' interest from beginning until the end. So the flatter your audience retention curve is, the better. Now, so far in this video, I shared tips on how to choose the right topics, how to increase your click-through rate, and how to increase your view duration. All of this is really with the end goal of getting more watch time. If you don't know this by now, watch time is king on YouTube, and the more watch time you get, the more YouTube will consider pushing out your videos in the algorithm. So the first tip that I have to increase your watch time is to create longer videos versus shorter videos. YouTube favors longer videos, and especially if you want to optimize your videos to show up in suggested, which means it's the sidebar after watching someone's video, is to make sure that you have longer videos. Even if you have a 30-minute video and someone's only watching 50% of that video, that's already 15 minutes of watch time that you've gotten. Versus if you did a 5-minute video and someone watched 100% of that video, that's really only 5 minutes that you've racked up. So YouTube will actually favor the 30-minute video with 50% view duration versus the 5-minute video with 100% view duration. So it's always in your best interest to create longer videos, even if someone isn't watching until the very end. Now, another way to increase your watch time is to make sure your audience is binge watching your content. YouTube favors creators who are able to get their audience to stay on the YouTube platform for longer. Now, one of the ways that you can do this is within your outro. Within the last 20 seconds of your video, you're able to add your end screens. But a mistake that I used to make is in my outro, I used to have way too many end screens, and I was super vague and generic on my recommendation on what video I wanted my audience to watch next. And the problem with this is not a lot of people were actually clicking on my end screens, which would then direct them to my other videos. Now, what I changed about my strategy is in my outro now, I am very specific on the one video I want my audience to watch next, and I explain why I want them to watch that video. As a result of me implementing this change, I actually saw a huge increase and a huge difference in my end screen click-through rate. And if your end screen click-through rate is high, it basically tells you that people are watching the next video. And if you do this for all of your videos, you're essentially creating bingeability. Now, so far in this video, I've really covered the different strategies on how you can get more views and get more subscribers over time, especially as a new channel. But how you can really supercharge all of this is to watch this video next, where I cover analytics. If you don't understand your YouTube analytics and how the YouTube game works, it's gonna be really hard to navigate algorithm changes in the future. And so that's why I want you to watch this video that I have here next. You see what I did there? Now, thank you for watching my video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye guys, and take care.